Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here with me today. Welcome to Coffee Hour with 360 of Opera. I'm very excited to have you with us to talk about this year's Phoenicia Festival of the Voice, which is a very exciting collaborative festival this year. So to start, I would love to have each one of you introduce yourselves, tell us which company you're working with, what your position is, and how did you get to opera? So we can start with you, Maria.
With pleasure. Thank you, Eugenia. It's so wonderful to have the opportunity to be with my colleagues and you. Thank you. This is great. So I'm the general director. I'm the co-founder, and that's plenty. And that's enough. And I came to opera because both of my parents are opera singers. So I was in the womb of my mother when she was singing, and I heard it that early. And then it was kind of, at home, that was like you brush your teeth, you vocalize, you learn an aria, so I started first as a singer, and now I am bussing singers around. I'm a stage director, and enjoy doing it greatly. So that's my story.
Wonderful. So Stefanos, you're next.
Yes, hi everyone. And Eugenia, first of all, thank you for having us. My name is Stefanos Koroneos. I'm the general and artistic director of Teatro Grattacielo. I actually got the position right before pandemic hit. When the founder of the company and artistic director decided to retire. The company exists since 1997 and has been specializing in presenting rare operas to the New York public. I got into opera by mistake. I used to, yes, it's crazy, because I moved from Greece to Italy to study something totally different. But I was sharing an apartment with an opera singer, and I still remember her name, Elaine Orsillo was her name. She was American who was living in Milano. And one day I heard her vocalizing, and I knocked her door and I said,
what is that?
Yeah, can you elaborate? And she was like, come in. I will make you sing. And I sang, and she was like, I don't know.
Wow.
And but she said, I hear something, but you're studying something else. Why are you going to do it? But I don't know, something happened inside of me, and I studied, and I had a good career, I guess. And now I get to boss other people too, boss around.
That's funny. Wow.
Wonderful. I love the story. So next, Luis Otey.
Louis Otey. I'm the artistic director of the Phoenicia Festival of the Voice. And yeah, so that's my position. I don't really get to boss people around. I get to invite people and pay people, which is a great pleasure. I did have a career as a singer. I came to opera because I was always attracted to, I don't know if I can say big singing. I didn't know what that was. I never heard an opera. But my first year in college, I started to sing a little bit, and I went to Memphis, Tennessee to work one summer because my parents were from there. And I said, I should take a voice lesson because I sort of like this singing stuff. So I'll go take a voice lesson. So a friend of mine who was a music major at what was at the time Memphis State, she said, well, you have to go see this lady, Ethel Maxwell. So I called her up, and she said, sure, darling, come on over and sing for me. And so I went to sing for her. And when I walked in the room, this guy was singing Faust, who's about to go off and sing Faust. His name was Richard Vernon. He was 33 years at the Metropolitan Opera. And the room was reverberant. It was pulsing. The voice was so loud and penetrating and everything. And he left, and I went, can you teach me to do that? And she said, well, let's see, sing something for me. So I sang for her, and she said, well, I think I can get you a scholarship to study voice at Memphis State. And I said, I was a brass major at the time, and I said, well, I can grow up to be a band teacher in South Dakota, or I can try opera. Why don't we try opera? So I was actually in the first opera I ever heard.
Amazing. I
That's
love
mine.
it. I love it. And next is Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliott Brown. I am the director of marketing at New York City Opera, though I wear many other hats as well. And I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, where I was also in the first opera I heard as an 11-year-old, a member of the children's chorus in Tosca. And I remember it vividly because I was 11 years old, and Timothy Noble, the great baritone who taught at IU for many years, was our Scarpia. And he, when you're an 11-year-old boy and he is standing over you screaming the Te Deum at the end of Act 1 on the biggest stage I'd ever seen at the time, it was quite memorable. So that was my introduction to opera, and I went on also to study it at the College Conservatory of Music at the University of Cincinnati. I have a bachelor's and master's from there, and I've sung regionally, and then transitioned to a move to New York and working at New York City Opera.
Fantastic. Wow.
I love hearing all these stories. So this series at 360 focuses on this, on the behind the scenes, on the people who are making it happen beyond the singers and everyone that we find on the stage. So I think it's very important to highlight these stories so both the audience and the artists can educate themselves on what it takes to, make a production happen. So thank you so much for being here. And Maria, I want to come back to you with Phoenicia, and is this the first time you welcome other companies to collaborate with the festival?
In that level, yes, where we completely entrust. Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that to that level, I would say, where they take a whole night, where this is their day. Yes, but we did have the principle of Phoenicia is the festival is collaboration. So we have collaborated with On Site before. We had collaborate with other genre, because with the Festival of the Voice, it's not just opera. So we have had, Paul Green. We had the Rock Academy with us. We have had Native American companies or specialize in world music. We had theatrical companies working with us. But to that level, I would say we're a company is one full day and the other full day, and this is their show, and so much opera in one setting. I would say yes, and we're so honored and so grateful to have those two beautiful and prestigious company with us, New York City Opera and Teatro Grattacielo. I mean, the cast they're bringing this year and the project they're bringing is super exciting. For us, it's like the community here will freak out completely. They're gonna love it. We're so excited to present that in our mountains.
And either Maria or Louis, how did this idea to do it this way this year come up?
It's, the big ideas are always Maria's ideas. I help fill them out, but she's the creative intelligence behind almost everything that we do.
He's having a gun pointed at himself right now.
Oh.
Well, that's a little
I think
difficult. She's in New York and I'm in Florida, so
Well,
It's a virtual gun.
he's feeling the
virtual.
threat. He's feeling the
Exactly.
threat. Yeah. So, but go ahead, Louis. You were complimenting
no,
me.
but I mean, last year originally the drive-in idea was all her idea as well, and so she's a person that has sort of groundbreaking ideas, and the idea to think, well, gosh, our stage is going to be dark. Well, let's invite some other companies, and it all distilled down to Stefanos and Michael Capasso, Teatro Grattacielo, and New York City Opera, which is fantastic. We couldn't be happier about two more wonderful collaborators.
And very complimentary also in the programming. Whomever is gonna come and stay for the three shows would have three extraordinary different nights, reaching, all three completely in the relevance and anything we're talking about, but in presentationally very different. So it's quite a pack, an excellent and super high level weekend. If you come, whomever, when you come to the area and you stay for the 3 nights, that's a rare combo of three very different things in such a short time. Very
Yes.
exciting
So
program.
you are presenting Pagliacci, right?
We're presenting Pagliacci, a modernized version of it with circus element to it and some real life stuff moving in all directions. Yes, that's us, and I think that's the circus element and the modern aspect would. I can't tell you all the little secret, otherwise there's no point, you know. But there's yeah, it's pretty. The music would be pretty much everything that's in the score is respected. It's just the presentation is a little bizarre, and we have those wonderful circus artists. Actually, I'm saying this, but that's not true. We're adding a piece for the circus. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Wonderful. So, and Teatro Grattacielo, Stefanos, you're presenting Amaiko Fritz. So this kind of all worked out great because you had programmed the opera for your season. And so how did that organization come about, the invitation, the collaboration to do it up in Phoenicia as well?
So yes, you're totally right. Amaiko Fritz is scheduled to be performed at La Mama at Elliott Theater on November 14th. And when I got the phone call from Louis and from Maria, I jumped off my chair because first of all, I thought this was a great opportunity to have another performance of this great opera. But most important, I want to share with everybody that I choose that opera this year because it's an opera that talks about happy coexistence, about love, about self-discovery, and about finding your happy place within the world. So I thought to myself, what a great idea to combine two totally different dramas. And I didn't know about Rigoletto back then, which is another type of drama. And that's how I said to myself, okay, they are having a deep emotional drama like Pagliacci,
Dark.
yeah,
Yeah.
and dark. And
Yeah.
I want to bring up there something that is light and bright and musically kind of floaty. And we are going to do the practically a mini version of what is going to be happening in at La Mama. We have commissioned a very interesting artist from Argentina. Her name is Guadalupe Marin. She is very interesting. So she's doing those projections for us that we will project on the tent and on the side screens. And we will combine practically live feed together with the projections, and everything will be interconnected to tell the story of Amaiko Fritz.
Beautiful. And Elliot, so New York City Opera is presenting Rigoletto, which you're also presenting as part of your summer series in Bryant Park, correct?
Correct. We're going to be able to have the opportunity to debut it in Kingston, which we're very excited about. And it will then be at Bryant Park a few days later on September 3rd, I believe. September 3rd. And we're very excited. It's a brand new version. It's a bridge, but it is a very cool concept where Montarone is actually played by an actor. His name is Bill Van Horn. He's a well-regarded Shakespearean actor, and he is writing original text in iambic pentameter to keep the story moving along through its abridgment and without the chorus and everything. Mm-hmm. But all the music that everyone loves will be there, of course, and we will have our Rigoletto and our Gilda and our Maddalena and our Duke, of course, and our Sparafucile to sing the incredible Verdi music, but in this very cool concept with this narration in a Shakespearean style. So it's a very cool new production directed by our general director, Michael Capasso, and we're very excited about it.
Wonderful. And you guys are also presenting concerts all summer long, right, in Bryant Park?
We are. We did our first last weekend. We do an annual Pride in the Park celebration with Bryant Park to celebrate LGBTQ plus Pride Month. We did that last weekend, and we have Carmen coming up next week on Friday, July 2nd, an abridged version, actually also with Bill Van Horn, interestingly. That's a similar concept to this brand new Rigoletto. We've done this Carmen before, though, where the Lila Spastia is the inn owner and Carmen is the narrator that's keeping the story moving and connecting aria to scene while cutting, of course, the big chorus numbers. And that Carmen is July 2nd at 7 p.m. And then we're in August, on the 21st, we're doing, now that's what I call opera, a sort of greatest hits, family friendly, come one, come all, bring the kids, bring the grandparents, celebrate being vaccinated, celebrate being out in the world, concert for first timers or long time opera goers. And then we're closing it out on September 3rd with Rigoletto, the brand new Rigoletto that's going to debut at Phoenicia.
Wonderful. So talking about celebration, this is a question for everyone and we can open the discussion, but how does it feel for you who are the administrators, the directors, to be able to be back and see the artists, the performers in action and work with them and be in the same room with them and
Right.
getting prepared for a really busy summer? How is that? I'm sure it's amazing. It can also be overwhelming. How are you feeling about it all? You can just, I'm opening the floor.
No, Maria, I was going to say, Maria, why don't you start?
Well, I'm gonna be frank, Eugenia. We never stopped. So we never stopped. We did the first drive-in last year in August. So we worked with artists. We never stopped from May to August, and then we brought a few concerts in Florida because it was too cold to do it in New York. So in November, December, and January, we had artists coming. But it is amazing to be able to, the thing that I really missed the most last year, and I don't know you guys, but was just hugging. It's horrible, even if we never stopped, just to not be able to, you see people, we saw with such an intimate art form where now there's even intimacy director in rehearsal now because people have been too intimate, obviously. So now there's a guy that comes in. But I was told this morning, but it was so hard not to hug once we're sharing at the level we're sharing and the intensity of working like this. So I'm looking, and we have not hugged until recently. So that part, I'm so looking forward to this, and already, the people around us, the fact that we can. There's been a lot of hugging going on, even with people that I don't really like, but I hug them anyway because I miss them so much that I don't like to come here. But so that's and sorry for the plug about what we did last year, and I know
No,
it's
please.
very active, but it was this drive-in was, we kept our sanity and whatever. But that's it for my part, you guys. I'm curious to hear your part, how you feel.
So, okay, I'll go next. I must say that we never stopped too. And again, you know that we just last year, when everything happened, we were about to perform in a theater in New York, Fedora, and I just convinced my board to allow me to film it, to switch it into digital instead of just canceling it. And obviously, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I remember having this 6,000 square feet theater in Brooklyn where we had a TV crew of 6 people, and we were allowed to have only 15 people within the building, and Fedora has 12 performers. So it was a madness. There were people waiting outside on the street because they couldn't come in while we were filming. Half of the cast on the street, the other half inside filming, then going back to the street waiting. It was pretty crazy. But like everybody else, we are switching back to live, and we are starting to hug people, to have rehearsals in person, finally hear back some people singing, and I cannot wait to get off Zoom and to be able to see everybody in person.
Yes, I love it. And Louis, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Sure. I mean, when all of this shut down last year, and you're listening to friends and colleagues talking about how much work they lost, and the tens of thousands of dollars that they lost from canceled performances, and to look at I mean, I consider opera the world's greatest art form. It has the highest level of singing, of acting, of costumes, of orchestra, and even ballet, and all of these things that work together to make what opera is all about. And to have it sort of disbanded and put into these little squares that we're looking at right now on Zoom, and people not being able to touch or being in the same room and all this kind of thing, to see people coming back together, and to hear the relief and the excitement of colleagues and friends being able to be back on stage, and the excitement of the audience to be able to actually sit and listen to the human voice come at them live and in person it's a relief. And the fact that the world is becoming safer again is another sense of relief too. So yeah, I mean, it feels like it's been too long in coming, but thank God it's here.
Yeah.
If I may add, there is, it's interesting because I'm ready to hug everybody, but we are, I think, our three companies here are conscious that there's been a lot of trauma also caused to certain members of our audience, and so there's not everybody will come back at the same speed to the comfort zone. So I just wanted to add that we've been very conscious of this in the preparation of our protocols, in the management of everything will have this awareness and this mindfulness in the preparation. So yes, we are, the three collaborative company are jumping into this adventure together, but there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of care behind the effort, and we have and the artists and members of our industry that are concerned covered, and of course our patrons covered. And it's gonna be in a terrain where everybody will feel comfortable. And one of the things, like the reduction, the 90 minutes reduction that we choose to, that we all work for, was to avoid a lot of crowd movements. We avoiding intermission. We're gonna leave a lot of it's gonna be a big party, don't get me wrong, but and people can bring their wine, their picnic, their whatever. It's gonna be a big celebration, no doubt, but there is no intermission to avoid too much commingling. So the party can be before, can be at home after when you leave, but so there's those little things that we choose to do, still in the effort of mindfulness.
Yeah. Elliot?
I just want to add that, we also, have been doing everything we can, having digital programming and concerts that are, we get to hire singers and they get to work, but we can't have the audience. And the biggest thing that I missed, and this is what we experienced last week, and all of us, at our first concert, that was our first big thing since shutdown, was the audience, and just this energy that cannot be recreated as much as we try in digital. I'm sure last summer with your Tosca, you got a bit of that with honking, hopefully, and the energy. You got to feel that energy, but we haven't had that opportunity to feel that energy from the audience, and that was so missed and so excited. And it was a real audience. It was, over 2,000 people. And Bryant Park is such an amazing partner in so many ways. Thank you to Bank of America. Let's always plug them. Bank of America. But Bryant Park is such an amazing partner in many ways. Then the biggest way this time around was how safe everyone felt. And they had vaccinated entrances for vaccinated people who proved at the door, or if you had a recent test, you had a different entrance, and everyone was very safe, and our singers felt safe. And it was just it was a feeling that they hadn't gotten to feel, or we hadn't gotten to feel in 16 months. And that was the biggest part that we missed, was just that, because that's what live performing is, whatever the art form is, but especially with opera, which is, we're so used to being an acoustic form. There's nothing in the way, in the way that opera is traditionally formed. So having that connection with the audience is so important. And it was so great to see that again last weekend. And that's what we're looking forward to upstate at the end of August. So we're very excited about that, to connect with that audience again and feel that energy. And that's what performers feed on. Any performer you ask, that's half the reason they get out of bed in the morning, because they're a big ham and they need that connection, and that's what they thrive off of.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're about 2 months away, right, from the festival. So what is the timeline looking like from your point of view, the behind the scenes, what needs to be done, how are preparations going, rehearsals?
Do I really have to tell them what we're doing? They're our guests. Do you tell the guests what
Yes, and we are putting you on the spot right now.
Yeah.
We want to know everything.
So what you can talk about, just like what a timeline looks like 2 months before opening.
Right. Well, for our end, we still, nailing down the logistics of the hospitality logistics right now, and now the big focus is in advertisement. So happy to share with the world what we're doing. The big focus now is to invite people to join the adventure with us, and let them know what a great party it's gonna be, and not to be missed. And I think Elliot, you guys, and Stefanos, you guys are gonna have a very loving crowd here. They're dying for it. Everybody's so looking forward to it. They're so excited. They can't believe what's hitting them with the two companies joining us. We old news for them, but you guys aren't, and this is big. And so I think you're gonna feel the love when you guys come. So right now it's like spreading the news, that our focus, and it goes from buying the chips that we're gonna give to our backstage crew when they're working, to how many porta potty trailers are we gonna get, and to all those lovely things that we are involved in logistics. What about you guys? What are you up to? What are you doing?
Well, we are practically on the tech preparation of the show, of what I said before. Practically right now we are building up. I have to say that I have an amazing team. Malena Dayen, director extraordinaire, Suchan, I'm sorry, why I'm saying Suchan Kim, Sangmin Chai, who is from Culture Hub, who is doing our projections together with Guadalupe Marin. We are practically building up the technological part, the visual part, cue by cue, because we are planning to use the two side screens as part of the storytelling. So not only on those screens you will be able to see what happens on the stage, but you will be able to see many other things within that, while it's going from one screen to the tent to the other screen. Yes, also, Amaiko Fritz, interestingly enough, has a lot of naked music, a lot of music where singing is not happening. And so for this kind of music, we are preparing a whole experience. So we are right there, and like Maria said, we are building up our marketing campaign, which includes all the three companies, so that we can actually launch
It's
into.
time, yeah. It's a good time to start doing that. 2
Yeah,
months.
yeah, of course.
Perfect.
2 months is perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Elliot?
Well, I'm sure that Bill Van Horn is putting some final touches on his iambic pentameter. He's working very closely with Michael Capasso, our director, on the concept, this new concept of the show. John Farrell, our director of production, is putting the final touches on also projections and other set pieces involved in this new production. And Mark Boley's doing our wig and makeup. I'm sure he's gluing down some lace fronts, zhuzhing some curls, coming up with exactly what everyone's going to look like. And Derek Nye Lockwood is our costume designer. I'm sure he's hemming many a skirt, because there'll be many a big skirt in this production. And Constantino Belian is our brand new conductor and music director, and this is going to be his first production. We're very excited to welcome him. And it's my job to get the news out there and sell some ads and get some butts in the seats. And we're very excited about that because we want everyone just to feel the joy that we're all feeling being back in the theater and experiencing this art form again after a hard and difficult journey that we've all had with this. And so we're very excited for people to see what we're up to.
Mm-hmm. Louis, on your end, anything to
on my end, I'm just calling and making sure that the singers know, yeah, you're supposed to be in Phoenicia and you're supposed to know this role. And I've got a couple of people that I might have some visa problems, so I'm looking into that right now. We have a young tenor from Brazil, and Brazil and American relationships. I don't know why that's a problem, but it seems to be. One of our other singers is Dutch, but I think she's covered at this point. But Mateus, the tenor, Brazilian tenor, his student visa runs out at the end of July, so I've got to find hopefully I can find a P3 visa for him quickly to get him here. So those are, and also if for some reason one of these people can't come, I have to have other people ready to step in. So that's part of my preparation and what will be part of these next 2 months as well.
Never a dull moment, especially right now. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are changing really quickly and that sometimes we just can't control.
You see, Eugenia, that's so funny. I mean, and I'm sure each of us here have had this opportunity to share with many and be advocate of our art form. Last year was an interesting contemplation and realization. So many people don't realize that because we're in the entertainment business, that doesn't mean that it's not a job. Because people are getting entertained or transformed or having a great time, and they don't realize that the machine, this is why I appreciate so much your question that gives us, we're being, playful, but there's this whole machine behind, and time and effort and planning. It is our job. This is how we pay our bills also. This is how we pay for our families, and people, it's been interesting to be in an advocacy position and share this with so many. And when we share, people realize if we don't share, sometimes they don't know, because how would they? They come to be entertained, and also people, one of the commissioner of Governor Cuomo actually was telling me, it's interesting, if you want to go see a doctor, you're not gonna go see I go see a so-so doctor, it's okay, I don't. And when you go see a show, you have exactly the same expectation. You don't want to go see a show and have a so-so show. You want to, for your money, you want to be completely amazed by what you see on stage. So to get that amazement to an audience, it's hours, as but it's hours, 12, 16 hours a day of hard labor, of preparation. And it was so hard for our colleague, for myself, to hear other people saying, well, just tell them to go get a job at the post office or in an office, without understanding the sacrifice, the dedication, and the level of skills and craft that is behind any of our representative of the industry. So it's always wonderful to be able to show the backstage area, to often get people to even love us more and understand that it is a real work. It is a lot of, even if we bring people to dream and we transform them, it is the machine for people to enjoy is a very finely tuned machine.
Yeah, work and people, because even if there's a lot of tech involved, there's always gonna be humans behind it making it happen, right?
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and let's also say that during this terrible situation that we lived for the last year and a half, some very extraordinary things happened. some extraordinary creativity, some art,
Innovation.
yes, innovation, artists and creatives and administrators of opera companies stepping up and creating and reimagining, reproducing, and reinventing themselves. I found that together with the sadness that I had for so many friends that I lost a lot of work, including yours truly, I found also this excitement of following other companies like yourself, Maria, and like you guys in New
Yeah.
York City Opera, who had the guts to reinvent and to say, okay, we will find a way to make our music and opera happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gain pride in our colleagues. You're right, Stefanos. We gain tremendous pride to see someone uh, showing resilience in those difficult times. There was like we were all very so yeah. There was no doubt that it was uplifting and inspiring to see people doing things. It's interesting also because, and I'm sure you had this conversation. What would have been the pandemic without artists?
Seriously.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously, what would have been without movies, without music, without the books, without. Can you imagine? And that has been my main argument, and I'm sure it's yours. Is that imagine, when you see budget being reduced in the arts, or when you see decision made by people that could support the arts, but then say, yeah, no, not the arts, and then you look at very factually from all what I was told again in Albany, from all the sports team that we have in New York, all combined budget wise, nothing will replace the loss that Broadway shows and the Met and Lincoln Center and what we in the live performance. The loss of the income of live performance is way superior than the loss in the sport world, which for me was fascinating because we know how much New York loves their team, but it's a fact. And yeah, we you got it. I know you guys, I'm preaching to the choir, but it was
No, but this is great. Actually, it leads into my next question, which is, with all this, this was, as Stefanos was saying, a very tough year that at the same time just brought a lot of change and interesting questions and is pushing for a lot of progress in a sense in a lot of areas. So, do you feel, as artists, we've always been advocating for the arts, but do you think a little bit that after this past year, it feels even more necessary to communicate to, and not just to big organizations, but to individuals to commit to supporting the arts, and supporting the arts can mean just buying a ticket to one show, and start from there and start small. What do you have to say about that? Maybe Elliot, since Maria already talked.
Yeah. So, in piggybacking on what Maria just said, during the pandemic, I'm sure you all remember, Disney Plus released the live filming of Hamilton.
yeah.
And there was a meme that started circulating in the days following Hamilton's release. And it said, I think it was 9 minutes. It said, following the Hamilton production, there are 9 minutes of credits after the curtain comes down. Watch every single second of those credits. Read every person's name. These are the lives affected by being dark right now. This is the lifeblood of not just New York City. It's the reason, I think there's a Winston Churchill quote to the effect of, what are we fighting for? At the end of the day, our culture has to have a reason to go on. And the arts give us that. And without the arts, we're just another breed of animal going about and existing.
Amen.
It's what separates humanity from other animals, right? We have our culture and our art and our storytelling and the human experience. Without that, it's way worse than any pandemic is going to be, because then our culture is dead. So yes, I encourage everyone to support the arts. I encourage the United States government to support the arts, first and foremost. Europe does a better job of it, but I would encourage support for the arts in every level, because if we're not supporting the arts, what is this all for? What is this human experience for? Why do we get up every day?
Amen.
Why are we, if we're not telling stories, if we're not connecting with each other, if we're not finding the humanity in other people, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's what
Absolutely.
I'd say. Not to be big picture about it or anything.
Yeah.
I love it.
Very well said, my friend. Very well
Yes,
said.
yes, very well said. And if I may ask, add something to that, and Maria, I know you know what I'm talking about, Eugenia too. You know, in Europe, especially in Italy, where I had the luck to live for a long time, many arts organizations or theaters collaborate and support each other. I think also this is very important, and that's why I'm so happy that it happens, because it's normal in certain countries that companies put together resources to create a festival or to create one performance of one opera that then they call it co-production and travels to several theaters. So together with waiting and hoping that others will collaborate and will support us, it is very important, I think, and I will always advocate about that we support each other.
That's so important. You're so right. You're so right. I would like to add a thing about the newcomer that's never been to an opera. Opera has, I hope we will dismantle and debunk the myth behind, and I think New York City has done an amazing job at it. And Teatro, Grattacielo, this is why I'm in love with those two companies. I'm so happy they're coming, because from a long time now they already have this I don't like the word reach out to outreach, but it's they have this engagement policy with the audience, and they've been working very hard. New York City has modernized, I mean, in their approach so much, and Teatro Grattacielo is completely innovative too. So I love those two companies, and I wanted to encourage, if anybody is watching this that's never been to an opera, and we should absolutely put it everywhere, because this is a great convo and I love you guys so much, but there's a form of intimidation to go to when you've not been surrounded with opera or ballet or going to museum or listening to classical music. There's a lot of, and I know this because we're in a very rural environment here, and we have had to pick hand by hand our audience members here, and we're in the middle of the mountains, nowhere, there's no opera house, and we're creating it from scratch. So that was a real learning curve to really sit down with people, go in the street with people, and completely debunk opera and see what was hooking them or not. And the main thing we noticed was intimidation. People that don't know about opera and have a misjudgment about what it is, they don't come because they don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to feel that because they've not been exposed, they're never going to understand. It's in Italian, nobody understands everything. But yet, when we could debunk this myth that when it's excellent, it doesn't matter that you have a background or not. Your soul, like Elliot so eloquently said it, it's gonna touch your soul. It touches your heart. There's gonna be super titles. There's all that stuff to allow people to understand on a practical level. But the experience of being immersed into those magnificent human little vocal cord that bring that sound out there, plus the nature around us, plus the conviviality. I would encourage anybody that's not been to an opera to take this opportunity with the three companies here to come, discover by themselves, come with a picnic, a bottle of wine, barefoot if you want. And this is a perfect setting to see by yourself what opera can do to you. And it's so transformative. So I just would like to encourage, people that might feel that it's boring, too long, too loud in Italian, in Latin, whatever you imagine it is. Well, come and judge by yourself. There's gonna be like mega technology on stage, And we're all presenting heritage opera, so we're not, presenting stuff that's like been written 2 minutes ago.
Right.
Rigoletto is going to be presented in a very original setting, but actually quite respecting the essence of everything. Our Pagliacci might not be presented the traditional way, but the music, man, the music. So it's a great opportunity to explore, experiment in a very safe environment, non-threatening, I would say, and not expensive. Our tickets are not expensive. So you're gonna come see people that grace the biggest international stage for a very reasonable price. This is a great opportunity. Just come.
Yes.
Just come.
And so for people who might watch this conversation and get curious, who are some of the cast members that they might want to check out on social media? Where can they find out more information, more details? Where can they buy tickets?
You guys. Yeah.
Before we hop onto that, could I just add one thing to the former subject? Sorry. And to touch on what Elliot said about government support. One of the reasons we started our festival, we did an impromptu concert. There was another opera singer that lived in Phoenicia, and the three of us performed to buy playground equipment for the park in Phoenicia. And unfortunately, they put the piece of playground equipment right where we want to put our stage. But one of the reasons we started is because after this concert, which was under the rain and more than 500 people showed up, like 2/3 of the people had never seen an opera before. And they were saying, when are you going to do it again? Our 5-year-old sat still and listened to you sing opera. Well, we got to do this again sometime. And that was the impetus, because so many people who had never seen opera were touched by it and grabbed by it. And even children were wanting to hear more of it. And, hopefully our government will not cut arts funding for the schools, because I got a lot of my training actually going into schools and doing hybrid performances of different operas, and the school kids were always incredibly excited and touched by it. So I think that's another reason that the arts, and especially the vocal arts and things like that, deserve government support, and at a very basic level, in terms of the kids and things like that.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky in New York. There's a lot of things are being shaken right now, and a lot of grants are being available for the arts. We're lucky. It's catching. This idea is catching up.
I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Can always use more. Just
absolutely.
There's no ceiling.
No, write those checklists.
Listen, still use more.
Well, I'm very interested to listen to Stefanos talk about your artists, because you're using some up and coming artists and people that are, somebody that people should check out. Certainly Aaron Brooks, the young gentleman who's coming to sing our Canio, who'll be, actually we had to get an agreement from the Met to let him off to rehearse. Certainly an up and coming young tenor. Who's just amazing. And I'll let Elliot talk about it, but Brandy Sutton is another person who just made her Met debut last year. She sang with us 2 years ago, and I was just struck at how incredibly beautiful the voice was. And
unbelievable.
Troy Cook, who's going to do his first Tonio with us. He was a young baritone. He and I sang together in Geneva years and years ago, and I sort of followed his progress. And he's gone into heavier and heavier repertoire, and he's somebody that's been around for a while and has maintained an incredible level of vocal proficiency, and beautiful singer. And you probably know more about Marcelina Boicher, who's the Dutch soprano, who's going to be doing our Ned.
Incredible performer.
Amazing. So these are and young, active, up and coming, but already at the highest level. So anybody in any of these casts. Michael Chioldi, somebody who sings all over and sings at the Met as well, and so. They're all worth checking out, and all worth following and getting to know a little bit, because you're going to hear a lot more from them in the future.
Amen to that. Yeah, I mean, in our case, because part of our mission is the promotion of young artists, and we always in our casts we mix up young artists with more established artists. In fact, our Fritz in New York will be Elliot, your Duke, one
Nice,
we
Oh, okay.
joy.
nice.
Yeah, and I'm very
He's
excited.
amazing.
He's amazing, and I
Nice.
cannot wait to hear him
Wow.
as Amaiko, and soprano Alexander Raskazov will be also well. But to you guys up there, we are bringing two, I think, very exciting young voices. Texan tenor Diego Valdez, who I'm pretty much sure we will hear a lot talking about him, and a Californian soprano. Her name is Clara Leslie, also top.
We're so looking
Um,
forward to having them.
yes,
I
yes.
think I heard a few clips of them in one of your concerts. Amazing voices. They're going places for sure.
Oh, yes. I'm very excited, and that's exactly. I took that opportunity to honor the mission that Dwayne Prince, the founder of Teatro Grattacielo, had, which was that to give voice, important voice, an important place to young singers to show off and hopefully to start careers.
Amazing. I was thinking about the newcomers coming to opera, but our aficionados are gonna have a lavish fest. I mean, just kind of in the aficionados, that this is where it's happening, guys. You should come also quickly.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, as you hinted at, we have Michael Chioldi, who's one of the world's greatest Scarpios, has been for a while and still is. And he sings everywhere, Met included. Juan Wee Choi is an incredible tenor who's like he's got this perfect Italianate sound, not
Mhm.
just Italian diction, but this production that is just, it's everything you want in that sort of lirico spinto tenor, and he's incredible, and he's a fantastic performer. And Brandy Sutton, you mentioned, is just this exquisitely gorgeous singer,
Good work.
beautiful voice. She made her Met debut in Porgy and Bess, and was incredible. I always got to see it, and it was incredible. And Lisa Chavez is our Madalena. Is incredible. Such a stage animal. You can give her anything, and she's gonna kill it. And then Kevin Short is our Spada Fucil, and he is, in addition to being one of the nicest people you've ever met in your life, an incredible bass baritone, and he just joined the faculty of Juilliard, and he is going to be a voice professor
Wow.
coming up at Juilliard, in addition to his
Wow.
other teaching positions and very busy singing career. And I was in a production of Faust with him when I was in 2012, when I was the
Woo!
incredibly forgettable character of Wagner in Faust. He was Mephistopheles.
I'm sure you were unforgettable. I'm sure you were fantastic.
For at least 90 seconds after I was gone.
Listen.
Breathing. No, but he's incredible and such a nice guy, and it's just a great cast. And yeah, everyone's in for a treat. And Maestro Orbelian is, I mean,
Yeah.
talk about world class.
Yes.
So
Yes.
everyone will be in for quite the treat.
I am staying for all the three shows. I have already booked my hotel for. I'm staying. I'm serious. I'm staying for all shows.
Like,
Uh,
awesome. We're excited.
And we're actually bringing up a conductor that is he's in his first assignment with us, the Mexican conductor Felipe Tristan, who is our associate conductor. Israel Gursky will be in Europe conducting at the moment, our music director, and that's also another exciting thing. And we are preparing for you guys a very special orchestra reduction that is being built right now.
Incredible.
So,
Incredible. It's just incredible. I mean, I'm humbled by so much quality and excellence.
I love seeing how within the collaboration, the individual projects are very clear, and I can see that each opera will have its signature and the flavor of each company's mission,
Yeah.
which proves that collaboration doesn't mean that the product or the essence of a company dilutes or anything. It just people coming together to make something even be bigger and helping each other out. So I think that's very clear from our conversation, and I know
Well said, Eugenia. Well said.
it will be a big success for sure. And so where can people get tickets?
Very easily. We all have links that point to our website, which is phoeniciavoicefest.org, but it links immediately, and I think you guys are connected too through your website, right? It links directly to the site, the ticket, that it's a site called Yapsody, but I think that if you go through our respective website, it links you right away. So it's easy to find us. For us, it's phoeniciavoicefest.org, and it's PHO, Phoenicia like the Phoenix, phoeniciavoicefest.org, and you'll see the ticket page, and I'm gonna let my colleague describe their website too. Easy to find us, 3 opportunities. What's your Elliot?
Stefanos and Elliot, the websites,
Ours is
social media.
ours is on www.grattacielo.org, which is our official website. It's very easy to find, and in a few days, also through social media, the same thing. We will have some ads where all you have to do is click at the button,
That's right.
and you buy a ticket.
We're linking right to the Yapsody ticket page from our front page, nycopera.com, and you can follow us on Instagram at NYC Opera, Facebook New York City Opera, Twitter's NY City Opera. We're working on that, simplifying that, and yeah, nycopera.com, and we link right to that ticket page as well.
Fabulous. Well, I want to thank you all so much for your time and for the amazing work you're doing for opera and for emerging artists and giving artists a chance to perform this summer at such a high level. And I wish you all the best. I know this will be a big success, and I can't wait to see all the developments in the next 2 months, and all the marketing campaigns, and everyone at 360 of Opera is supporting you and sending you the best energy.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Eugenia. Thank you so much for this time. We love spending time with you. Thank you. And
Thank you.
Yes, come be with us.
Thank you.
Everyone at 360 is invited. Follow these companies and go to the Phoenicia Festival of the Voice.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. And if you like this video, share it so that more people can find out about this and check out the festival.
Incredible. Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao. Ciao tutti.